I still remember the day I married Lillian. Standing at that altar in the small church outside Denver, watching her walk toward me in white, I thought I knew exactly how the rest of my life would unfold. Two kids, a house with a backyard swing set growing old together. I believed in us completely. I thought I knew everything about the woman I loved. Until one October night, everything I believed in crumbled to dust. And the most painful part was not the betrayal itself. It was what came after. Before we dive into this story, let me know in the comments where you are watching from today. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button and tap the like button. Stay with me through this journey because the ending might surprise you, and maybe just maybe you will see yourself somewhere in my story. My name is Marcus. I am 36 years old and I work as a software engineer at a tech company in Denver. For 12 years, I built my life around one woman, Lillian. She was 34, working in real estate, beautiful in a way that made people turn their heads when she walked into a room. She had this energy about her, always the center of attention at every gathering, always laughing, always making everyone feel like they were the most important person in the world. We had two children together. Emma, our daughter, was 8 years old, sharp as a tack and curious about everything. Jackson, our son, was 5, still young enough to believe his parents were superheroes. We lived in a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs, the kind of place with a white fence and a swing set in the backyard. The American dream, people would say when they visited. You too have the American dream. I loved Lillian with everything I had. From the moment I met her at a friend's barbecue 13 years ago, I knew she was the one. I worked hard to provide for our family. I came home every night for dinner. I coached Jackson's Little League team on weekends. I thought I was doing everything right. The first signs appeared so gradually that I almost missed them entirely. Lillian started coming home later than usual, always with the same excuse. Big client, she would say. This deal could really change things for us. I believed her because I had no reason not to. She was ambitious. That was one of the things I fell in love with. But then I noticed her phone habits changing. She would take it into the bathroom with her, something she never used to do. When I walked into a room, she would quickly lock the screen and set it face down. I told myself I was being paranoid. Trust your wife, I thought. Do not be that husband who suspects everything. One evening, I asked her about a particular client. She kept mentioning a developer named Derek, who supposedly had properties all over Colorado Springs. She snapped at me, her voice sharp in a way I had never heard before. Why are you asking so many questions? Do you not trust me? Then just as quickly, her face softened and she apologized. I am sorry, baby. Work has just been so stressful lately. I accepted her apology because I loved her, because I wanted to believe the best in her. But something had shifted between us, something I could feel but could not name. The moment that truly shook me came on a Saturday night. Lillian announced she had to meet an important client for dinner, even though it was the weekend. She came downstairs wearing a dress I had never seen before, a deep red number that hugged her figure. She had done her makeup more carefully than usual, and she was wearing a new perfume, something floral and expensive that I did not recognize. Have a good time, I said, trying to keep my voice neutral. She kissed my cheek quickly and left. I spent that evening with Emma and Jackson. We made popcorn and watched a movie. I read Emma her favorite book about a girl who discovers she can talk to animals. I tucked Jackson into bed and sang him the lullaby my mother used to sing to me. Normal dad stuff. The stuff I did every night. Lillian came home close to midnight. Her hair was slightly disheveled. Her lipstick faded unevenly. Her mascara slightly smudged beneath her eyes. The meeting ran long, she said, slipping off her heels. You know how these clients are. I nodded and said nothing. But that night, lying next to her in our bed, I felt a distance between us that had never been there before. She fell asleep within minutes, but I stayed awake for hours staring at the ceiling, trying to convince myself that I was imagining things. 2 weeks later, Lillian told me she had an overnight business trip to Colorado Springs. Big presentation tomorrow morning, she explained. It is easier if I just stay at a hotel near the client's office. I helped her pack her overnight bag. I kissed her goodbye. I told her I loved her, and she said it back, the words rolling off her tongue as easily as they always had. That night, Emma developed a fever. It started around 9 in the evening, and by 10, her temperature had climbed to 102 degrees. I gave her medicine, put a cool cloth on her forehead, and tried to call Lillian to let her know. She did not answer. I called 3 more times over the next hour. Nothing. Finally, I sent her a text asking for the name of her hotel, just in case I needed to reach her in an emergency about Emma. 2 hours passed before she responded. The Marriott downtown, she wrote. Sorry, was in a late meeting. Is Emma okay? I told her the fever was coming down, that everything was fine. But something nagged at me, a feeling I could not shake. Before I could stop myself, I picked up the house phone and called the Marriott in Colorado Springs. Good evening, the receptionist said. How can I help you? I am trying to reach a guest, I said. Lillian Thompson. Can you connect me to her room? There was a pause, the sound of typing. I am sorry, sir. We do not have anyone by that name registered tonight. I thanked her and hung up. My hands were trembling. I called our neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, and asked if she could watch the kids for a few hours. Family emergency, I said, and she did not ask questions. Then I got in my car and drove. The drive to Colorado Springs took about 90 minutes. The whole way I kept telling myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe she had booked under a different name. Maybe she had changed hotels at the last minute. Maybe I was about to make a complete fool of myself. I pulled up the Find My Phone app. Lillian and I had set it up years ago, back when the kids were babies, and we wanted to always know where each other was in case of emergency. Her location showed her in a residential area, an upscale apartment complex on the east side of the city. Not a hotel. An apartment. I parked across the street and waited. I sat there for almost 2 hours watching the building, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I saw her car in the parking lot, the silver SUV I had helped her pick out 2 years ago. Just before 1 in the morning, the lobby door opened. Lillian walked out, and she was not alone. A man was with her, tall, dark-haired, wearing an expensive-looking coat. They stopped just outside the door. She said something and he laughed. Then he pulled her close and kissed her. Not a quick peck. A real kiss. The kind of kiss I used to give her. I watched as she got into her car and drove away. The man stood there for a moment, watching her go, a satisfied smile on his face. Then he went back inside. I do not know how long I sat there. It could have been 5 minutes. It could have been an hour. I remember feeling like someone had reached into my chest and ripped something out. 12 years, 2 children, a house, a life, a future. All of it shattered in the time it took for them to kiss goodbye. I did not confront her that night. I did not chase after her. I just sat in my car and cried. I had not cried in years, not since my father passed away. But that night, alone in a parking lot in Colorado Springs, I sobbed like a child. The drive home was a blur. I got back around 3 in the morning, relieved Mrs. Patterson, and checked on the kids. They were sleeping peacefully, completely unaware that their world was about to change forever. I stood in the doorway of their room for a long time, just watching them breathe, wondering how I would ever explain this to them. Lillian came home the next morning, acting like nothing had happened. She breezed through the door with her overnight bag, kissed my cheek, asked about Emma's fever. She was so casual, so normal, that for a split second I wondered if I had imagined the whole thing. How was the hotel? I asked, keeping my voice steady. Fine, she said, pouring herself a cup of coffee. The bed was a little hard, but you know how those places are. I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshot I had taken of her location the night before. Funny, I said, because when I called the Marriott, they said you were not registered there. And according to this, you were at an apartment complex across town. The color drained from her face. She stood there, frozen, the coffee cup halfway to her lips. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then she started to cry. It just happened, she said between sobs. His name is Derek. We met at a networking event 6 months ago. I was feeling so lonely, Marcus. You are always working. You never pay attention to me anymore. He made me feel wanted. He made me feel alive. I listened without interrupting. It was strange, like I was watching a movie about someone else's life. This could not be real. This could not be happening to me. 6 months, I finally said. You have been lying to me for 6 months. How many times did you come home from his bed and climb into ours? How many times did you kiss our children goodnight with the same lips you used to kiss him? She flinched like I had slapped her. I know I was wrong, she said. I know, but I am begging you, Marcus. I will end it with Derek. I will do whatever it takes. We can go to counseling. We can fix this. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I realized something had broken inside me that could not be repaired. I used to see the woman I loved when I looked at her. Now all I saw was a stranger. I need time to think, I said, and I moved my things to the guest room. For the next 2 weeks, Lillian tried everything. She cried. She apologized. She promised to change. She suggested therapists, retreats, books about surviving infidelity. Every morning, she would knock on the guest room door and ask if I was ready to talk. Every night, she would leave little notes on my pillow telling me how much she loved me, how sorry she was. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw her kissing him. Every time she reached for my hand, I pulled away. The trust was gone, and without trust, what was left? After 2 weeks, I sat her down and told her my decision. I am filing for divorce, I said. I cannot do this anymore. Her reaction was not what I expected. Instead of more tears, more apologies, her face hardened. You are giving up, she said. Just like that. You are not even going to fight for us. Fight for what exactly I asked. For the right to be lied to again? You did not fight for this marriage when you were sleeping with another man. You are so entitled, she spat. You think you are so perfect. You never made mistakes. You never did anything wrong. This is what couples do. Marcus, they work through things. They do not just quit. I stared at her in disbelief. You cheated on me for 6 months, I said. And somehow I am the bad guy for not wanting to pretend it did not happen. She had no answer for that. Within days of my decision, Lillian's family got involved. Her mother, Patricia, called me first. Marcus, dear, she said in that sugary voice she always used when she wanted something. I think you are overreacting. All marriages have problems. You need to learn to forgive and move on. She cheated on me, Patricia. I said, for over 6 months. And that is terrible, she replied. But ending a marriage over it. What about the children? What about Emma and Jackson? You are going to destroy their lives because of your pride. I hung up on her. It was the first time in 12 years I had ever been rude to my mother-in-law. Her father, Harold, tried next. He was more direct. Look, son, he said what Lillian did was wrong. But you are a grown man. Grown men do not run away from their problems. You stick it out. You work through it. That is what real husbands do. I wanted to ask him if he would say the same thing to his daughter if I had been the one cheating. But I already knew the answer. Her sister Megan sent me a long text message calling me selfish and cold. You only care about yourself, she wrote. You do not care about Lillian. You do not care about your kids. You just want to feel like the victim. I did not respond to any of them. Meanwhile, Lillian was waging her own campaign. She started posting on social media vague, but pointed messages that her friends and family would understand. Sometimes the person you love the most gives up on you when you need them the most. And I made a mistake, but I never stopped fighting for us. Some people do not know how to forgive. The narrative was clear. She was the remorseful wife trying to save her marriage. I was the heartless husband who refused to give her a chance. Within weeks, people who had been my friends for years were looking at me differently. Some stopped calling altogether. And then Lillian started using the children. I do not know exactly what she told them, but Emma came to me one evening with tears streaming down her face. Daddy, she said, why do you not love Mommy anymore? Why are you leaving us? My heart shattered into a million pieces. I knelt down and held her, breathing in the strawberry scent of her shampoo. I am not leaving you, I said. I will never leave you or Jackson. Mommy and Daddy are going through some grown-up stuff, but we both love you more than anything in the world. Lillian was watching from the doorway. When Emma ran upstairs, Lillian looked at me with something like triumph in her eyes. See what you are doing to them, she said. This is your fault. I did not dignify that with a response. About a month after I filed for divorce, I received a message from a woman named Samantha. I do not think we have met, she wrote, but I believe we have something in common. I am Derek's wife. My blood ran cold. Derek was married. Of course he was. We met at a coffee shop the next day. Samantha was a petite woman with sad eyes and a quiet strength about her. She told me she had just discovered her husband's affair and she had found messages between him and Lillian going back over a year. Over a year. Lillian had told me 6 months. Samantha showed me everything. Text messages filled with I love yous and I miss yous, and I cannot wait to see yous. Emails planning secret getaways to places Lillian had told me were business trips. Photos of them together smiling, looking like a couple in love. There were credit card statements showing gifts Lillian had bought for Derek, expensive watches, and designer clothes purchased with money from our joint account. There were hotel receipts from weekends I thought she was at conferences. The affair was not a mistake. It was not something that just happened. It was a deliberate, calculated, ongoing deception that had lasted more than a year. I thanked Samantha for telling me. We exchanged phone numbers and promised to keep in touch. We were both going through divorces now, both trying to rebuild our lives from the wreckage our spouses had left behind. When I confronted Lillian with the new evidence, she finally cracked. She showed up at my door at 2 in the morning, mascara running down her face, smelling like wine. Please, she begged. Please take me back. Derek ended things. He is trying to work it out with Samantha. I have nothing now. I have no one. I need you. I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not even pity. Just a hollow emptiness where my love for her used to be. You had a chance to tell me the truth, I said. When I first confronted you, you could have been honest. You said 6 months. It was over a year. You used our money to buy him gifts. You lied to me even when you were begging for forgiveness. Why would I ever believe anything you say now? She screamed at me then. She called me cold, heartless, entitled. She said I was ruining our children's lives. She said I would regret this forever. But I knew with absolute certainty that I was making the right choice. The divorce proceedings revealed even more of Lillian's deception. My lawyer presented the evidence Samantha had shared with me. The judge saw the credit card statements, the hotel receipts, the messages. Lillian's lawyer tried to argue that I was being vindictive, but the facts spoke for themselves. In the end, the court ruled for an equitable division of assets and shared custody of the children. I got to keep the house since I had made the majority of the mortgage payments, and Lillian had to pay back some of the money she had spent on Derek from our joint accounts. Her family sat in the courtroom and heard everything. When we walked out, not one of them could meet my eye. It has been a year since the divorce was finalized. I live in a new apartment now, closer to the kids' school. It is smaller than our old house, but it feels more like home than that place ever did. Emma and Jackson have adjusted better than I expected. Kids are resilient like that. They split their time between me and Lillian, and while it is not the life I imagined for them, they seem happy. Emma told me recently that she likes having 2 bedrooms because she can decorate them differently. Jackson just likes that he gets 2 birthday parties now. I started seeing a therapist a few months after the divorce. I did not want to at first. I thought I could handle everything on my own. But talking to someone helped me process the anger and the grief and the betrayal. It helped me understand that what happened was not my fault, that I did not deserve it, that I was not broken because my marriage failed. I have even started dating again, though nothing serious yet. There is a woman I met at a bookstore, Sarah, who makes me laugh in a way I had forgotten I could. We are taking things slow. She knows about my past and she does not judge me for it. Lillian is still single as far as I know. We only communicate about the kids now, short texts about pickup times and school events. She seems different, quieter, somehow less sure of herself. I do not know if she has learned anything from what happened. I do not know if she ever truly understood why I could not forgive her. And honestly, it does not matter anymore. She is not my concern. My job now is to be the best father I can be, to rebuild my life, to find happiness on my own terms. Looking back, I think the hardest part was not the betrayal itself. It was everyone telling me I was wrong for refusing to accept it. It was Lillian's family calling me entitled for having standards. It was friends suggesting I should just get over it for the sake of the kids. But here's what I learned. Self-respect is not selfishness. Walking away from someone who hurts you is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. It is teaching your children that they deserve to be treated with honesty and respect, and that they should never accept less. Lillian said I did not fight for our marriage, but she is wrong. I fought for it every single day for 12 years. I fought by coming home for dinner. I fought by being faithful. I fought by believing in us even when things were hard. She is the one who stopped fighting. The moment she chose to lie, to sneak around, to build a secret life with someone else, she gave up on us. All I did was refuse to pretend otherwise. So, if you are watching this and you are going through something similar, I want you to know you are not crazy for having boundaries. You are not cold for refusing to be a doormat. You are not destroying your family by refusing to accept betrayal. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Not because you have given up on love, but because you have finally started loving yourself enough to know what you deserve. I want to ask you something before you go. Have you ever been blamed for someone else's mistakes? Have you ever had to make a difficult choice that others did not understand? Share your story in the comments below. Let us build a community of people who support each other through the hard times. If this story touched you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next story. Thank you for spending this time with me. Whatever you are going through, I hope you find the strength to choose yourself. You deserve it. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.